While it's not such a good idea to take the focus off of yourself when you're in the process of waking up to reality, it's going to happen anyway. As you move through your daily life, things are going to start looking a little strange. Remember, your current world has been built upon the foundation of an illusory self, your identity. So, the friends, family members, employers, and anyone else you come into contact with are going to expect to interact with your identity, not you. Once you stop being that old identity, you're likely going to be met with a lot of resistance. After all, you have an unspoken, sacred agreement with the people in your life. One that says, I will agree to believe your identity if you agree to believe mine. So when you stop believing your own story, your own identity, you're going to stop believing theirs as well. This is typically when things start to get messy. Breaking this sacred agreement may mark the beginning of your gradual rejection from their lives. The good news is that because you've already begun to dismantle your false self, this rejection will not come as much of a surprise to you. Nonetheless, the gravity of what you're doing is going to start sinking in very quickly. Friendships that you've worked hard to create and sustain over the years may fall apart in a matter of months, weeks, or even days. Family relationships will need to be placed under your microscope, regardless of how nice they may seem. Often the most manipulative, narcissistic, and repressive relationships you have are the ones that you have with your immediate family members. When it comes to immediate family, remember this equation. Keeping the peace equals poison. If you've been raised with organized religion and still occasionally dabble in it, you may want to consider letting go of that part of your life altogether. Not because all of what is being said is untrue. A small percentage of it may very well be true. But because religion relies on your ability to suspend disbelief and encourages you to place more value on belief systems than direct personal experience. When it comes to waking up, if it's not direct personal experience, it's not truth. You don't have the luxury anymore of believing in nice ideas. The fortunate part is that you also don't have to believe in the not so nice ideas either. Your place of employment is likely going to become very colorful as well once you start questioning the world that you've created for yourself. Abuse of power is commonplace when it comes to working for someone else. The person or people you work for know that you think you need their money, which often gives them an unnatural sense of control over you. This is fine if they keep this delusion to themselves. However, more often than not, this isn't the case. Most people, including your boss, are ruled by their false self, which thrives on the illusion that life can be controlled. Being in a position that amplifies this illusion tends to give employers an unrealistic sense of achievement and superiority. Employers who are under this delusional spell will be the ones who will have the hardest time with your awakening self. Those who abuse their position of power get energized by feeding off of your fear. So once you stop acting from a place of fear, you're going to be taking away a very important food source for them. And this is going to make them very unhappy. To question your world is to become your own authority. Most people are ruled by the authority of others and don't feel confident enough to step outside of our society's hierarchical structure. This won't work for you anymore as you shift into your true nature. It's time for you to become a rebel. If If you come across the Buddha on your path, kill him. How many Buddhas are there in your life? In other words, how many people do you look up to and feel like you need their advice or approval? The truth is, there can be only one Buddha, and you are him. Or her. Your return to Buddhahood takes time. When you first come into the world, you're alone, groping through the dark, trying to make sense of reality. Over time, you adopt the values and opinions of others and start to feel like you're shining some light on that darkness. The reality is, however, that you've simply given that darkness a new name and told yourself that you're not alone. You are alone, and that darkness hasn't gone anywhere. Don't be frightened, though. That's just reality. This world, existence, is designed to keep you in the dark, designed to make you believe that you're not alone. That's why on the level of experience, this world can only offer you more darkness. All experience, after all, reinforces the illusion of duality, the illusion of experiencer and experienced. In order to rise out of this darkness, the false self must be rendered inert through the practice of being in this world, but not of it. The only thing that can allow you to not be of this world is your ability to witness life with neutrality as it unfolds moment to moment. Watching the show of your life with neutrality as it plays out in all of its expected and unexpected ways is the enlightened experience and is the only true freedom there can ever be. This is also where the renunciation of time comes into play. You can't be an impartial witness to life and still persistently entertain your memories and future projections as if they're reality. That's the work of a mind-made me in survival mode. After all, the false self can only maintain its illusory existence through a constant preoccupation with what's happened and with what's going to happen. Your past tells your mind what's gone wrong, and your future tells your mind how to fix it. Most of the time, your words and actions are premeditated with selfish interests for this very reason. Your present, however, tells your mind nothing, which is why it constantly ignores it. This is also why continuously resting attention on the present moment is so important. The false self can't remain in the spotlight of it for very long without its illusory nature being revealed. As the veil of your previously unquestioned identity starts to lift, it's going to start feeling like you're a little crazy. After all, you've begun pulling the thread on the fabric of not only your own life story, but also that of the entire world story. Essentially, the entire existential drama that makes human beings do what they do is going to start coming apart. So feeling a little crazy is perfectly normal, if not inevitable. When you go deeper and begin questioning your inner world of fantasy and projection, you're going to start noticing just how little your attention is focused on the one thing that matters most, the experiencer. Most of the time, your attention is focused on the experienced. The irony is that everything your mind-made me does is for the experiencer, and yet the experiencer itself is always ignored. Very rarely is the experiencer allowed to just be. Very rarely does your awareness truly focus on itself. Doing so, of course, would require a willingness to question the nature of that self. Needless to say, your priorities will have to change considerably before this becomes natural for you. When you place importance on the things you experience in life, you're at the mercy of whatever happens. This would be fine if things always went your way and if life always worked out the way you think it should. Unfortunately, that's just not how it is. The good news is that it's not necessary to place an optimistic glaze over top of reality in order for you to find peace and freedom. Just notice, your search for happiness is an attempt to end your search for happiness. You don't really want whatever it is you're seeking. You only want it so that you can stop the experience, hell, of seeking. Ultimately, what you want is reunion with wholeness, an end to the search. Reunion with wholeness, however, is not possible because you're already whole. This means that the very act of seeking is a rejection of wholeness.